boosting livestock production in the state. Our dream as a company is that livestock production will come to a point that we are not just talking about local consumption. We are talking about export. We are talking about where our livestock products are harnessed and properly processed for export. And that should be our target. That should be our concern as well. The media, we are seriously waiting on you to make progress with this presentation. It's all right. I think the media they're almost there. This other screen is not working. Okay, we should continue with this. Go to the first slide so that we can start. It's all right. We are at this State Livestock Summit 2025. And as we have been introduced before, we are from Aspan Integrated Farms Limited, Abuja. By the grace of God, we are the gold sponsors of this summit that is happening this year. And seated with us are representatives from the company. Our general manager, Mr. Ephraim Akperekwe, is seated. Our production manager, Mr. Olushola Emmanuel, is also here. My cameraman. And my humble self, Dr. Levi Manfrey. We want to, the second slide. All right, we bring you greetings from the Aspan Group, led by our CEO and MD, Dr. Solomon Akperekwe. He would have loved to be here by himself, but due to some critical engagements, he's not here. So we bring you greetings from him and the entire management team and the Aspan staff. You are welcome to this summit, and may the Lord help us. Slide please. All right, although we have talked about livestock production in this summit so much, but let's have an overview of where we are so that we can know where we are going and where even Aspan has a stake. Statistically, livestock production in this nation, and especially Benue State, is grossly inadequate. You can agree with me that at the place where we are, we cannot meet even our local consumption demands. I'm very, very sure that up till now, pigs are being brought from elsewhere. Even yesterday when we were coming on a Thursday night, we passed about 3 vans loaded with pigs coming to Benue. To discover that production, even for consumption, is grossly inadequate. And the previous governments, as as I started saying before the presentation, have neglected livestock production so much. Initially, livestock subsector was in the ministry, and it was suffocated, it was almost killed, because every attention was given to crop production, where incentives and inputs, fertilizers and the likes were yearly provided for farmers. And it was very shocking that even ministers of the Ministry of Agri and even commissioners of the Ministry of Agri at the state level, most of them, if not all of them, none was animal inclined. There was nobody was in the field of animal production, either a veterinarian or an animal scientist. They picked them from other fields. So they saw that that sector was not important. But we thank God for now. That was then. Now, as I said, at the federal level, the Ministry of Livestock Development has been created, carved out of the Ministry of Agri, and the minister was here yesterday. And at the state level, a bureau has been created for livestock development and animal disease transboundary control. So we see that there is a great shift in what we had before that discouraged many people from going into livestock farming. We are gradually changing from that narrative. We are gradually shifting from what we knew before. Attention is coming back to livestock production, and I want to believe that every stakeholder that is present in this summit will be at the forefront of driving this initiative. You know, we need every stakeholder, both the farmers, the investors, and the likes. All of us must at this point do more. The environment is conducive, so we must do more. And now that we have come to this critical point, even our thinking has to change so that we can be able to engage this sector very well. And what we were thinking before? Before we think that animal production is just in. When you take it to Bachima market, when you take it to Fuji, when you take your goods to Yako or to Adi, you are satisfied. But our thinking now must shift from local consumption to export. We must be thinking like that for this sector to actually thrive. So I leave us with that challenge. I leave us with that, expectation that from now we must be thinking very, very big. Let us take a look at what we had in Benue. The next slide, please. This is our food basket that is conspicuously located at Wukun Roundabout. The other side is our logo, a representative of the representative logo for Benue State. And I would like you to look very critically at these two symbols. You will discover that not one animal is represented anywhere near those things. In the food basket of Benue State, no animal is there. In the logo, there is our own symbol of representation. No animal is there. So you will see that both the government and the designers of that logo do not remember that there's livestock production, because we were doing it at a negligible level. Nobody could notice that something like that is happening. The government forgot that there's livestock production here. The man that made the basket didn't remember that at least there's nothing like that. So I'm just pointing towards the negligence in the past for livestock production in this state. But the next slide, please. I am seeing a very good shift. We now have a listening governor that listens to our cries critically, analyze what we are saying to him, and answers us. So we see that, we are heading in the right direction now. If we cry, we have somebody to hear. If we talk about livestock production, we have someone that's ready to listen to us. If we talk about boosting livestock production in the state, we have somebody that is ready to commit himself to what we are talking about. And that should be our driving force. That should be, our motivation to see how we can harness this through the period that has just been created. The next slide, please. Now, take a look at the next slide that we have. This is an animal health and production is there. Farm management is there. To tell us that we are thinking in the right direction in Benue now, as far as this issue of livestock farming and production is concerned. The next slide, please. All right. There are commendable initiatives that are in place, and I know that most of us are aware. But we want to appreciate the government as a company. As Aspan Group Limited, we have noticed that the government has made tremendous initiatives that should be commended by all that love livestock production are hoping that Benue will move to the next stage. The creation of the Bureau of Livestock Development and Transparency and Disease Control is an initiative that every livestock lover and every stakeholder in the livestock industry must have, because we are pulled out of where livestock production was almost killed. We are now heading to be on our own, where we can promote production and engage it, profitably. Also, the recent signing of memorandum of understanding with Agris Livestock Processing Limited to establish an automated livestock processing facility. Those of us that have been to Mulukun Abattoir, Northern Abattoir, and the slaughterhouses we have around is an eyesore. You go there. When I was a student, I go there, and after my stay there, eating meat, I almost lost appetite. Because of how they drag meat in the mold, how they process it is so, is so discouraging. But with this, we know that we are heading to a place where our meat will not just be processed hygienically for consumption, but also for export. Because we can't take this kind of meat we process here for export with a lot of microorganisms and the likes. Nobody will be able to go into that. And we are just praying that this will not be the normal government report. It's also a stakeholder and is talking about livestock production. As I said before, we are a non-governmental agri-based company. We have been registered with CAC and have been in existence for the past decade, operating at different levels and contributing significantly to the development of livestock production in the country. We have been doing that. We are producers of Aspan animal feeds. Some of us might have seen the feed around feed. We also raise broilers for ourselves and for sale, a large quantity, layers and eggs also, and pigs. We are all into this. And we can emphatically tell you that this sector is profitable. We can tell you that it's something we're doing. Because if it is not, we won't be doing it for the past 10 years. We want to encourage you. We also offer consultancy services to both existing farmers and potential livestock farmers. We do that just to contribute our quota to livestock development in the country. We have in our ranks qualified and licensed professionals who are very proficient in offering these services to us. And Aspan is a very critical stakeholder in the sector of livestock production. We are known for that. Next slide, please. Our products, I have said, we have Aspan animal feeds. The pig sector, we have winner, we have fattener, grower, and general purpose pig feed. All of these are available. I feel, what you don't have adequate knowledge about, you can't succeed in it. Most farmers, the reason their farms will not succeed, it was lack of knowledge. They didn't know what they were doing. They just heard that there's profit and they jumped into it. The first thing to get and succeed in farming is knowledge. don't ignore that. We have been doing trainings, as I said before, we have been in Benue before to talk to farmers. We have been in Nasarawa State to talk to farmers and to talk to them about the basics they need. To talk to them about what they need to excel. You know, all of that we have been doing in recent times. You know, these are some of our feeds in 22. All right. As you can see, the feed and the vehicle. Next slide. Going out. This big feed that we are into. If you go to a stand, you can see some of these products are placed. These are our animals, the pigs and the broilers that we had in the farm. The pigs, you know, these are our layers and the eggs. All right. Aspan in the next 5 years, as the livestock industry is expanding and also growing, and we have seen that there is a conducive environment for that to thrive. We are also, we as a company also have a dream. We don't want to remain at where we are. In the next 5 years, we want to build a household name in livestock feed production nationwide, so that wherever you go in the country, production of ruminant feed as well, and we have it. So we are expanding to all those areas, and in the next 5 years we are dreaming to become in the nooks and crannies of this nation. You must see a bag of Aspan feed. We also want to become a renowned livestock farmer in the North Central Nigeria, top 5%. When you come to North Central, you talk about farmers. Those are all farms. Aspan feed in the next 5 years is going to be there. When you mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Aspan must be there. We are hoping to expand very seriously. In the course of the presentation, you will see our expansion, the expansion we have started doing already. We want to be critical stakeholder in the life of Nigeria, top 10%. As a nation, when we talk about in the next 5 years, we are hoping that when you talk about critical stakeholders, we are going to a meeting of critical stakeholders in livestock production, and you call them to ask farmers to be there. We must be represented. We are coming to a point that once you mention livestock production in the nation, the first person that should come to your mind is Aspan. And we are seriously working that that will become a reality. We want to, in the next 5 years, begin to offer robust consultancy services. You know, most of the times, consultancy services in livestock production is underrated. A farmer thinks he knows everything, but you don't know everything. You need somebody to guide you, and we believe that we will be there to be one of those doing that. Then a major trainer of livestock farmers and potential farmers in Nigeria. We have started already, and we are hoping that as in the next 5 years, we are talking about, thinking about who will train your farmers. We are organizing a seminar, we are organizing a training, and we are thinking of who will come. The first person that will come to your mind is Aspan Group Limited. Because we want to take that very seriously, and we have begun that already. We are sending out, reaching out to states, ministries, to see how we can come in massively to train livestock farmers. Let's equip them with the current knowledge and current trends in livestock production, so that they will be able to succeed. Next slide, please. Aspan and you. So now we want to discuss what, as a stakeholder in livestock production, how can Aspan and you be able to foster this, to contribute to this livestock sector? One, partnership and collaboration. Aspan Integrated Farm is open to partnership. We are open to collaboration. You can partner with us in what you are doing and what we are doing to foster this sector. So we are open for that. We are also open for, you can also engage you can register as a joint act. We can train your farmers, train them. Then your farm is seriously going to suffer. So in cases of training personnel and farm workers and attendants, we are open to that. Then internship, industrial attachment, and NYC. We also accept these people to come to us, to learn what we are doing, and to go and excel. Mostly what we have been looking for are veterinarians and animal nutritionists, who will fit into what we are doing. So students, IT students and NYC, those who have graduated, we have a place with ASPAN where you can apply for all of that, and you will be considered if you meet our own requirements. Next slide, please. Right, ASPAN in pictures. I'm sorry, that picture will not be so clear. This is our factory where we operate for feed production, where we are. That's next slide, please. All right, this is a production in progress. Next slide, please. New production in progress. As you can see, the staff making the feed there in the factory. We have a good capacity now, but we are hoping to expand very, very soon. Next slide. All right, I already showed us this. This is our farm that we have, and the animals. Next slide. All right, these are also our animals and the personnel ready for vaccination of our birds. All right, these are our animals. Next slide, please. The next one. All right, this is our proposed farm that we started building already, expanding already. In this farm, we have several sections. Fish is there. You have layers, you have broilers, you have cattle, you have grass cutter, you have snail. All of that big farm is there. It was part of that team, and our MD with another partner there. These are partnerships we have. Next slide, please. Talk about partnership. Next slide. We talk about expansion. This is to see how we can get good machines from India to expand our own production. And we had a robust discussion. We are hoping that very soon we'll get those equipments with us and those machines to boost our production. So we are not just satisfied with what we are doing, that is already at a good state. We want to go beyond this, because as we are hearing, where this industry is going, nobody can imagine. And ASPAN does not want to be left behind. When the industry is being driven forward, we want to be at the forefront. So we are taking every measure to see that we achieve what we want to achieve as the industry keeps expanding every day. We are not stopping at this, we will continue. The next slide, please. I talked about trainings. These are some of the trainings we did. The next one, this one was in Benue, where we came to talk to farmers. The next one, this was also in Benue, when we came to talk to farmers, over that. The next slide, which is where I will draw the curtain, our recommendations. As a company, we have very strong recommendations, both for strongly recommending that this summit must become an annual event. We don't want to see a hit and run aspect of this summit, because as we keep improving and keep going in the production sector, there is need for such summits to do a communique. We want this recommendation to form what you are going to draw to the government to look at. And we want similar programs to be running at the local government levels, because it's not everybody that is here. When we take it closer to the people, we more participation, more awareness, and more engagement in livestock farming. We want the establishment of livestock villages in East and Nigeria district. The government talked about ranches, and it was in agreement with what we wanted. Infrastructure is their problem. So if the government provides infrastructure, provides electricity, provides water, what they need, grants loans and incentives to livestock farmers and potential farmers, I think this is one of the things the government needs to look into very well. Yearly we hear about giving out of fertilizers and other inputs and incentives, sprayers and snapper sprayers to co farmers. Why can't they replicate that to livestock farmers as well? This critical sector that must be given attention, and we are seriously advocating that the government should look into that and make sure we are also benefiting such advantages. It will encourage livestock production, the think tank of the government. They say agree. They want the establishment of a committee that is specifically assigned to look for ways to improve livestock production in the state. And we seriously advocate that these people should not be politicians who will politicize what we are doing. They should be real professionals who know what we are talking about, who are passionate about what we are talking about, and are ready to help us. And not speaking about politicians, but most of the times what you commit in their hands doesn't go anywhere. And if you want this to go, it must be professionals. People who know what we want and are ready to help us. Then we're also talking about improved animal disease surveillance and compensation packages. You know, most of the times, the fear of most farmers is that when I get a problem, nobody will attend to me. If there are compensation packages that are made for farmers, because somebody can't imagine investing in pigs. The African swine fever comes to wipe. He has no place to go. But if we have such, packages around, it will encourage farmers. Then ASPAN has a lot to contribute. I've spoken about that, but for the sake of emphasis, I still want to say that as a company, we are over ready . Everyone, anybody that is interested in livestock production and wants to drive this sector forward. The government can engage us in livestock ranch establishment, training of personnel. In all of that, we are ready. As individuals, we are ready to give you what we want, as far as it is for the sake of improving livestock farming and production in Nigeria. So